I'm going to call this How to Find Applications for Your Forms on a Budget. Because I know a lot of people don't have the money to always join the different associations that are good at pressure points and whatnot. And you may not have money to spend on a lot of videos. And you may not have money to go to all the seminars. But you can still learn how to use your forms even if you don't have a lot of money to spend more than you're currently spending on your martial arts training. But let me make one disclaimer before I give you the earth-shattering secret. The information that you pay for is typically going to be better than the information that you try to get on your own. It just is. Because if you're paying somebody to give you information, they put more thought into it, and that's the value added when you pay for something. They may be able to see things that you've just missed in your own research, because if you feel like you need to pay them for the information, they most likely know more than you do, or they've already done the type of research that you're doing, or they may know things that just haven't been documented yet. So, that being said, so just remember, the best thing to do is always go to somebody that's more knowledgeable, or to go to a workshop or pay. But if you can't do that, and really what you can do on your own for those times where you're in between workshops or in between experts, is you can do two things. Number one, practice your forms. I don't care if you only know one. Practice your forms inside and out. Get to the point where you can do them out of order. Get to the point where you can do them backwards. Get to the point where you can add in an extra move into your forms. Just know your forms, the proper angle, direction, and tempo. Because there's a reason why your instructor taught you to do your forms the way he or she did. All that helps when it's time for you to go find applications. Now, once you know the forms, start looking at self-defense videos. And there are a ton of them on YouTube. Look at different self-defense videos that are free and available on YouTube. There's some pressure point material that's free and available on YouTube. But I would start first with the self-defense moves. And if you see a move, now they're not all going to jump out at you. But if you see a self-defense move, one of the self-defense videos that reminds you of a form that you know, that's an application for that move in the form. Think about it. And it doesn't matter if your peers don't agree with you. That's one that'll probably work for you. Because those movements are speaking to you. So you have just found a real-time application for the moves in your form. So you can get it from self-defense videos. Another thing you can get, and that's here on YouTube, is look at security camera footage. Security camera footage shows how most of us, the real untrained people, end up fighting and going at each other. So if you watch security camera footage videos on YouTube, one, you can get an idea of common attacks that you need to prepare for in one steps. And two, if you see something in the security camera footage that reminds you of a move in your forms, you found another application. If there's any books in the library about martial arts, if it's not in your style, that's probably better if it's not in your style. Go to your library, get any free books there are on the martial arts, and read them. Read them, study them. See if there are any moves in those that remind you of your forms. Or if there's anything in there, whether you feel like the concepts are good to absorb and, good to absorb and just make you think about your martial art differently. That's another way to find moves in your forms. Because that way, when you have like a base or a basic idea of the type of things you like to look for in your forms, then when you finally are paying someone, or you go to your instructor, or go to like your more senior students in the Japanese arts, they say your senpais, and you tell them your ideas that you're sharing, then they can give you critique. Like one thing I was doing, and someone pointed out to me years ago, she was one of my senseis, she said, Your applications are good that you're coming up with in your forms, but you got to remember you're seeing it this way because you're a big guy. So you see the way to twist and grab a lot of things because you're a big guy. You've got some kind of a background in grappling. That's good what you have, but now I want you to start thinking about how somebody smaller than you would apply that move from the form. Now see, if I just went to her first, I might have only gotten just the perspective of it's a smaller person against a larger person. And that's not a bad perspective. But you need both perspectives. Yes, you should think about, well, if I'm bigger and stronger than a person, how can I do this? And if I'm smaller than the person, how can I do this? Because I can tell you without going into too many details and embarrassing people, I've had to apply stuff I know as bigger person against smaller person and do it with the intent of not to hurt. That's right. Using my skill, neutralizing violence, but neutralizing violence in a way where there wasn't a mark on anybody, nobody got hurt. Because that can happen too. It's called self-defense. It's not called other destruction. Because self-defense can take different flavors. So just to reiterate, practice your forms. Practice them. Practice your forms in different types of environments, different positions. Practice them standing up, practice them laying down, practice them kneeling. Practice them with your eyes closed. Practice your forms until you're sick of them, whether you know 1 or 30. Practice your forms. After you do that, look at different martial arts, see what kind of moves they have, see if they remind you of anything. Look at self-defense videos. See if the moves in the self-defense videos remind you of any forms that you know. Look at security camera footage. See if the moves in the security camera footage remind you of any of the moves and forms that you know. And then talk to the people that are there. Talk to your senior students about moves you may have from the forms. Talk to your teacher about how you might want to use different moves in the forms. That way you're making the form your own. And then when you finally get to a situation where you can go to a huge seminar or talk to people that know Kyusho and that type of thing, you have a bunch of questions that you can ask. And you'll find out that the more questions you have to ask, the happier the people that really know the stuff are to answer you. Peace.